Hey guys, what's up, Pixels? In today's video, we are doing a new tier list video for Evil Dead the game. This is after the Army of Darkness update. I'm going to be doing a new Survivor tier list, and I'm going to be ranking them on their skills and beneficial of their skills and stuff like that. So the first one I'm going to jump into is Amanda. Now, we're taking into account the perks and stuff here. We're not just going to be like, oh, how they play out in theoretical different scenarios and stuff like that. I'm mainly going to be judging them on their skills right now, their perks and what use you can get out of them. So Amanda, for me, I'm putting straight into C tier. I really wanted to be an Amanda player on this game. I really wanted to enjoy her, but, you can have some joy out of the pistol, don't get me wrong, but the way Amanda is designed, she works so much better using the last word with a blunderbuss or, an explosive crossbow, things like that. She's just so much more better for single shot weapons because of the ammo for days perk rather than, using the 9mm pistol. So the 9mm pistol is just not good for ammo economy at all. You'll burn through a lot of ammo on that, like I said. You might get lucky, you might get a lot of pistol ammo drops, but, a lot of people really like Amanda, and there's a lot of people hate it. I think she's kind of like a controversial character. A lot of people like her, a lot of people hate her. Not hate her, but, dislike playing her. Like I said, for me, like, if you look at her skills, obviously she has ammo for days, which is an amazing perk, don't get me wrong. But the starting with the pistol just feels kind of a waste of a perk slot for me. The next one is obviously the weapon mastery for the pistol as well. Again, it's more or less of a waste for me. And the last one is the consecutive hit damage one, which again, is not that bad if you're using the pistol, but it's so much more beneficial using that with a blunderbuss or something. So with the way she's designed and the way she's mastered around a weapon and stuff, I really just don't agree with her being higher than C tier right now. I think they really need to look at the survivors, like, just totally overhaul all the survivors, if I'm being honest. I think a lot of them are in a really bad place with their skills and their perks, and I don't want them to be too strong and too broken and things like that. I want each survivor to have, their uses and have to be able to utilize their skills as much as possible, but most of the case, it doesn't really happen. Annie, I'm going to put her in probably A tier, just because of the balance bar damage, and she's just got the steady, obviously, use out of her perks. Most of the time, if you play Annie, you'll always get use out of her perks, which is good. I don't particularly like playing Annie. I know a lot of people really like Annie, so I think AT is a good spot for her. She does, like I said, does great balance bar damage, buffing up range damage as well. Hunters probably being the strongest class in the game. I know Warriors are really good, but Hunters with the stamina is just ridiculous, and obviously their range damage is still ridiculous as well. So obviously having an Annie is not bad, but she's not really a leader I would pick to play. She's not really my type of play style, but, I know a lot of people do like her. So, like I said, we're judging them on their perks and stuff, and like I said, I think, with Annie, you're always going to get use out of her perks, which is good. Lord Arthur's a bit of a cheesy one for me because, I play a lot of Lord Arthur, and I really like playing him. I probably put him just probably below Annie right now. I know he does really good melee damage buffs. Obviously, he kind of gets a little bit of a buff with his Lord's Wrath with his sword as well. But it's his last perk. Again, I really don't agree with his last perk. It's so hard to chain finishes with this guy. You can do it, but with the damage increase that he has, it's quite difficult to chain finishes. So I think with this guy, what they need to look at doing possibly is to, every time you kill a unit, it makes the Lord's Wrath last a bit longer, which I think would be a better idea rather than doing a finisher, because it's so difficult to do, to spam finishes with this guy. And so maybe if they're doing it as a killed unit buff, I think he would obviously go to S tier for me. But, he's going to go in A tier just below Annie, just for the use of his perks is pretty lackluster. Cheryl straight into S tier. Cheryl is absolutely broken. I don't know how she hasn't been nerfed. The ridiculous amounts of colas she can carry, the healing she gives, the fear reduction as well. And not to mention her active ability for health as well, to give that health top up for the team in between, battles and stuff. But, S tier for Cheryl, definitely. I think everyone would agree with me on that. I'd probably say she's the best survivor in the game. Like, the fact is that they nerfed Evil Dead 1 support Ash yet again. A lot of people actually like, we'll get the Evil Dead 1 support Ash later, but I know a lot of people kind of like his change, but With Cheryl's just so much more stronger and so broken, man. I've been playing Demon and I realized how strong a Cheryl player actually is, and I try and take Cheryls out as fast as I can because that really helps me win games. But yeah, I think Cheryl belongs in S tier. I think most people would agree with me on that. And like I said, utilizing all of her perks every game, that makes her beneficial for me. Ed, I'm gonna put him high A tier. I'd probably put him S tier, but with the crossbow hit detection and the weapon mastery around the crossbow, I think he belongs in A tier. Obviously, he's really good for spawning extra crates for people, like the increased rarity of crates. Sorry, getting better weapons for people. Obviously, you can always utilize his trap ability, but the thing that brings him down for me again is the weapon crossbow. Weapon mastery, because I'm not a fan of the crossbow. I've tried it loads of times. I can actually do really well with Ed if I play him as well with the the final round perk maxed out, where you do increased damage with the last bullet in the gun. So I can get over 100k damage games with Ed quite a lot, but I'd much rather see him having a weapon mastery for the hunting rifle. I can't express that enough. But yeah, just for the lack of, having a weapon mastery perk, I'm going to put him in A tier. So Evil Dead 2 Ash, he's a bit of a controversial character. So he starts with a double barrel. I'm not a fan of the double barrel. He also has weapon mastery for the double barrel. He's don't get me wrong, he's amazing if you find like a purple or legendary double barrel. You just absolutely smack everything with that. But his cooldown for his ability is pretty ridiculous right now. Especially, since it kind of moving back to basic possession spam that we're getting on necromancers now. We're getting that quite a lot because of an exploit currently. So, trying to make him as strong as possible around his ability is good. But I think I'm going to put him B tier. He is good. He's got the really good stamina. I wouldn't... It's a difficult one because I kind of want him, obviously, to put him, higher than Annie and Lord Arthur, but because of his skills and his perks and the way they're designed, if you have a good skill build on this guy, don't get me wrong, he can be really unstoppable, he can be really strong, but obviously taking into account his perks and his active cooldown ability is ridiculous. Having weapon mastery around a double barrel, which I think a lot of people actually don't like. I know I've seen a lot of people say, I really dislike using the double barrel. I don't know what it is on this game, but a lot of people really dislike using the double barrel right now. And not really having strong melee damage and stuff like that. But he is really good at finding supply crates too. So I think he does belong in B tier. I would probably put him low A tier, high B tier definitely, but I think I'm just going to stick him in high B tier for now. I think that's where he belongs. Alright, Henry the Red. Alright, Henry is literally a tank. I'm putting him straight in S tier. Judging him by his perks, of course. This is how we're judging this. This is their usefulness with their perks and stuff. Straight into S tier for me. If you put a cooldown on his active ability and, do a full tank build, he is literally unkillable, this guy. He is disgusting. Being able to pretty much get a free revive on survivors, resurrecting survivors for free, you can only be cut out of that with certain things from the demon, the demon dash, Elagos's AoE ability and stuff like that. So yeah, go by Henry's perks. Obviously, he has the increased health and shield bar length, which is fantastic. He has his active ability, makes him invulnerable for a short period of time. He has the rebound effect, giving 30% damage dealt back to the attacker, which is pretty crazy. And also, they has the start the match with the extra shield bar as well. So it's trying to remember his exact perks, but you'll always get used out of these perks. So I think he belongs in S tier. Like I said, he's almost unkillable. He's absolutely amazing. I really like him. Kelly for me, I know she's a hunter, and hunters are strong. All hunters should be in S tier, as people say. With her bug, I would have said, leave her in S tier and stuff. But judging her by her perks and the way she is, it's kind of a weird one. So I'm going to put her in B tier now. It kind of hurts me to say I am a Kelly main. I play a lot of Kelly, but I barely use her active ability. I actually think it's a waste of an active ability. The only time I'll use it is if I'm in a really, really, really sticky situation. But hunters can dodge quite a lot in anyways, so it kind of feels worthless having her ability a lot of the time. Obviously, she does get the bleed damage with her ability, so if I do activate it when there's a boss, when the boss is there, it does do bleed damage to the boss, which does help a little bit. But like I said, I can go through games without using her ability at all and still just do really well. So it does feel like a waste of an ability. Meat Hammer Weapon Mastery, bit of a weird one. Obviously, they went for the lore accurate type of thing there with the Meat Hammer. But, putting her in, if you wanted to give her Meat Hammer Weapon Mastery, she should have been a warrior. And, they kind of made her a ranged character with melee weapon mastery, which is very odd. Obviously, they wanted to, obviously design a hybrid type character, but for me, while you can do, good damage over time with her, if you have obviously a Meat Hammer and, obviously her other perk where it buffs up her melee damage the longer she's in combat, I kind of like that one. It is good. And obviously she has the counter shot ability as well. If she, gets a good dodge away, then she shoots the target, then they do bleed damage, which is good as well. But, overall, and most of the time when I'm playing Kelly, I won't even be using, like 2 of her perks, which I think is a really big waste of a character and a character's potential. So, like I said, I think it's another character they need to look at and maybe overhaul as well. Because right now she's kind of all over the place. You can do a warrior build for her, but like I said, you just won't do the same melee damage or anything like that. It's kind of pointless doing melee damage on a character that is based around range damage, which just really sucks. So yeah, I'm going to put her there. Ash, I'm going to put him higher than Annie. Leader Ash is fantastic. Absolutely love him. His active ability isn't amazing, but it's really good for crowd control. I really like that. And not only that, but spamming finishes on this guy constantly buffs his aura up, which is fantastic as well. And the only one I dislike maybe is starting the match with a chainsaw. But, it is nice having the chainsaw at the start of the game. It's actually pulled me out of a lot of tough situations at early game where the demons found us straight away. So I'm going to put him in A tier. I think, like I said, you can get use out of all of his perks every game, which is great. Again, I kind of don't like the start the match with a weapon and then the weapon mastery. I think it is a waste of perks. I think this game should be all about looting and finding the game in loot and then having perks around that specific character, to buff up their damage and stuff like that, instead of just having the whole perks just centered around a weapon, which really sucks. But anyways, let's move on. So Pablo, I'm going to put him in C tier. I did have Pablo higher, but judging him on his perks, from someone who I like playing as well, I like playing Pablo, but judging him by his perks, obviously his amulet cooldown thing is good. Spawning amulets is great. Starting the match with an extra amulet feels like a waste of a perk yet again. Most of the time you'll find quite a lot of amulets, and the fact this guy can constantly spawn amulets as well. It's very much a waste of a perk. I probably would have liked to see him have the extra shield bar like Henry does. I think that would have made more sense for Pablo. Or at least have a built-in reinforced amulet for him. But yeah, it's very, very weird, his skills that he has. So the only one I really like is being able to spawn amulets for people. The other 3 feel like a really, really big waste. Maybe the one where you hide from the demons is actually really strong. Pablo players can go really incognito and be really difficult to find. So that's a good one. But the other 2 are just a total waste. And again, they really need to probably overhaul this character as well. The next one, Evil Dead 1 Support Ash, I'm putting him in D tier. This guy just keeps getting massacred with every update. I don't know what they're doing with him. But now it is 20% healing. 20% healing to the team of what damage you do. While this can be good with Lord Arthur and, all these different scenarios playing out, if in a general use of things in solo queue and average games and stuff like that, with his perks, I just don't think they're great at all. The mark target ones I've never liked, I never will like. I think they're terrible. And this guy should really probably have weapon mastery, like increased attack speed with, a shovel or something like that, just to maybe buff him up with his heals. But they removed the ability to be able to heal when people were doing finishes. If you actually attack a skeleton and you hit his shield, it doesn't do health damage. So then again, you're wasting attack and time while attacking skeletons, and it's not healing your team at all. If you use a spear though, however, and you hit a crowd of skeletons or something, then you can get good healing with that. But again, that is dependent on a scenario, and your warriors not doing their jobs, actually killing units. And most of the time, if you're playing with good warriors, they will just smack a whole crowd of deadites straight away. So then you're not going to get any healing done for the team either. I know a lot of people kind of like his change. His active ability is actually really good, bringing down the fear as well. But he kind of feels all over the place. He has marked target damage with range, and then his main ability is obviously hitting the deadites, and dealing damage to heal the team. Again, it's been nerfed and it's horrible to use now, and I think they should buff it up to maybe just 30% damage or 40% damage, buff it up a little bit, because it is very difficult to actually sustain healing with this guy, and you take damage doing this as well a lot of the time. You won't time your dodges correctly, you are susceptible to being hit, and you're being a bit vulnerable for yourself there and for your team. So compared to Cheryl, like, this guy doesn't even come close. He's in a very weird spot right now. And again, so moving on to the last two, and these two are probably very, very strong survivors, and it's very difficult to place these. I think I'm going to put Scotty in A tier, probably above Annie and Leader Ash right there. I'm putting him below Ed, just because he has a perk that is kind of useless for me. It's the one that gives him the fear reduction per unit kill, which I think is a big waste. He has his active ability, which is decent. It's nothing amazing, but it is alright. The main thing with this guy is the weapon mastery, and the 13% extra damage with the heavies dealt, and it kind of knocks back the deadites around it as well. So spamming heavies with this guy is really strong, but it kind of requires you to find a lumberjack axe, which can be quite difficult in some cases. Although he is really strong for doing damage and stuff, judging him by his perks, I think he belongs in A tier. And yeah, so I think right there is the perfect spot for him. Alright, last but not least, we're moving on to Army of Darkness Ash. Now, this is probably my most played survivor in the game. Purely because I think for solo queue, this guy can carry really, really hard if you play him correctly. I really like his potion, but his potion ability sucks. Like, the cooldown, it's really terrible. The weapon mastery for the chainsaw is a waste. I think it's only an extra 5% buff. It's not strong at all. The chainsaw also has an iffy hit detection, which is really, really bad. However, the other two perks are really strong. Regen and shield, and the shield explosion really, really put this guy up for me. So I think I'm going to put him in high A tier right there. Just because his potion is really strong, and if you have a cooldown on the potion, it can be really helpful. But this guy has such a good versatility around the things. Like I said, you will get use out of all of his perks apart from the chainsaw one. While you can still use the chainsaw one, you can have ridiculous attack speed with it. You can do a full combo with a chainsaw in like about 2-3 seconds now, because they increased the attack speed on most melee weapons now, which is good. But like I said, it's the weapon mastery. The hit detection with the chainsaw is really iffy. If it wasn't so iffy, I'd probably put him in S tier, but because of that, I'm putting him in A tier. Actually, using this guy with most other weapons, he's actually a lot more powerful than using him with the chainsaw. But if you use him correctly, and you're spamming balance bars and finishes and stuff like that, he can be really impossible to kill. And that way you can utilize all of his perks as well. So I'm going to put him in A tier. And I've got a lot of them in A tier. I've just realized that. I've actually got 6 survivors in A tier, which is great. Like I said, support Ash belongs in D tier. For me, I wouldn't put anyone else on his level right now. But yeah, this has been my tier list video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. This is the updated tier list for the survivors. Obviously, it's a bit controversial. People will not agree with me in some areas, which is understandable, but this is my opinion. And you can go do your own tier list if you want to do that. But I still want to know where you guys would place people. I don't want you to come out and say, "Oh, you're totally wrong putting this correct survivor in there." It's not really what you have to say is what I have to say. I just want to hear where you guys would place people, and not judge my opinion at the same time, if that makes sense. So yeah, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of the tier list. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a little bit more in depth from my previous melee weapon one. I might move on to a ranged weapon one after this, but I thought I'd give you guys an updated tier list video, which I think will be very beneficial for a lot of people who are judging what survivors to play now and stuff like that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button, hit that sub button if you are new to the channel. I do stream this game Monday to Thursday, and you don't have to go anywhere else for Evil Dead content. I'm currently on the way to 10,000 subscribers, which is totally awesome. You guys have been amazing with the support lately. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Pixel, those are my awesome viewers. I'll catch you guys in the next one.